So with the Grand Prix having arrived, I can now legally play other decks. Unfortunately, I still have the vial problem where I just don't have the vials to actually build other decks. So we are playing Lishenna Portal. The key point of this deck is that it's stupidly cheap. You only have to craft 2 Lishennas and that's it. And I happen to have the leader Lishenna that I pulled a while ago, and then I pulled one more copy of Lishenna. So basically, I didn't have to craft a single legendary for this deck. Orchis is here for fun. Also, she's temporary. You get a temporary copy of her anyway. So yeah, she's just here for fun. You don't actually have to run her. I mainly just stole this deck from the tournament winning decks list. I just took out 1 Servant of Destruction and put in an Orchis for fun, just to make it more flashy. I guess that's about it. It's a very cheap deck. It's like decently playable. It's not like super strong or anything, but it's like solid performance for how cheap it is. So if you are low on vials and you want to climb, this is a deck I would recommend. So yeah, let's jump into the games. So the first game I have for you today is a game against Sword. Of course, no deck showcase is complete without a showcase against the top deck of the current format, Midrange Sword. So for the mulligan, it's hard search for Lishenna. If you open Lishenna, then you want to find things you can use in the early game depending on the matchup. True Master is nice. Disciple of Disdain, Disciple of Destruction is generally pretty good. Here I keep Inspired Inventor because it will allow me to get a indestructible artifact. It's just a decent turn 1 play and help manage aggro. It gives you this amulet which you can put on the board, and then you can just use it to have a permanent target for all your destruction related effects. And also it can help you heal because against Sword, having healing is never bad. There's the Leot. We definitely want to watch out for Ivory Sword Dance at this point. Since we have Lishenna and it's our first copy of Maisha, we just go ahead and play the Maisha. We kind of want to draw into our deck. This hand isn't very good, so Maisha is one of your win conditions, but in this case, I think Sword, generally the lethal is slow enough that you can get away with winning off Lishenna only. And possibly you can just draw another copy of Maisha later on. And also, you can see there, Destructive Refrain, destroying allied portalcraft follower amulet without countdown, and deal X damage to all enemy followers. So we can use that to clear the Leot so we don't have to deal with any weird shenanigans with Ivory Sword Dance. My opponent's playing a weird, pretty strange list here. They're running the Dauntless Commander and Servant of Usurpation. Probably quite a questionable combo against most decks, but against us, since we are quite reliant on puppets for removal, this Servant of Usurpation is actually quite obnoxious. And so is this Dauntless Commander with the ability to buff their followers. I think Dauntless Commander is pretty good at catching people off guard. I probably want to try it out at some point as well, but that's maybe for another video. So we go ahead and evolve Lishenna here because that is how we win the game. Lishenna is the main card that we win the deck with. We get rid of Servant of Disdain to prevent it from getting out of hand, and also because it's the only follower they have that we can't clear with puppets. It's a bit questionable there though, because then it leaves them the room to have Dauntless Commander into Lisha. I was really hoping they wouldn't have Lisha, but unfortunately they did. They do manage to make a very large board here. Unfortunately for me, they trade off their Quick Blader into Lishenna, so we got rid of that. Now we just need to have an answer for this Lishenna, which unfortunately we don't quite have. This turn we're gonna go ahead and set up Puppet Troop Master, which will help us get our followers destroyed by drawing a ton of cards and giving us a bunch of puppets. And then because we're gonna take a ton of damage off this Lisha since we can't clear it, pick out another miraculous invention just to heal it. And of course we make some hand space by trading off the puppet. There's Ivory Sword Dance, pretty painful. We lose our whole board here. We do take the 7 damage phase. Just not ideal. We pick up the Heartless Battle here, which we can use the Victoria to clear this Lishenna, which is good. I mean this Lisha, sorry, which is good. We can get rid of the Nano as well. Our Destruction in white is coming down pretty late, but Sword's burst damage isn't that high, so honestly I'm not super worried about it. Just another Dauntless Commander, and they will evolve the Shield Guardian to make their board large. Fortunately we do have removal cards in our hand, so we don't have to worry about it that much. Go ahead and put down Destruction in white to make sure that we can start healing, as well as pick up Destruction in black. Then we go ahead and just get rid of their board, pick up a puppet here. We do let them play Latham, but Latham is not as problematic for this deck, I think, personally speaking. We have a puppet here, so we can go ahead and get rid of their Latham. We use Victoria as well. Make sure we get rid of the Latham properly. Unfortunately, we don't have the play points to play Destruction in Black this turn. Hopefully we can find some time to play it later on. Let me just go ahead and use this Disciple to draw into our deck. We got a bunch of puppets and we play a puppet here to make sure we don't overdraw. Puppet will die by itself anyway, so we don't have to worry about any board lock. There's another Lisha from my opponent, and then frontline Ramparts for some reason. I don't know what they're doing, but I mean, I guess it works. It summons a bunch of knights. Take a bunch of damage here. Just fine. We're stopped right off 10, so this well, it wouldn't heal us anyway with the Destruction White healing us, right? So we go ahead and trade. Use puppet strings here, which will go ahead and clear their board for me. With the help of all these puppets we have in hand as well. And then we can finally get Destruction in Black on board. And we use Maisha to draw as well. We don't have evil points on Maisha anyway, so at this point we just play her for the draw, and then yeah, we just play Destruction in Black. We just have to survive a couple more turns with Destruction in Black on board, and we should be able to win the game. There's several Usurpation and Queen Magnus as well. So they're going to go ahead and play a board that we can't clear, but fortunately for us, they actually just long their own board here. There's no reason for us to do anything. So we just go ahead and end turn here. They can't heal anyway, so now they are just dead. So go ahead and hit us here. Even double Ivory Sword Dance wouldn't kill me here, so we're completely safe. And then they know they're dead, so they concede. So let's move on to the next game. So for our next game here, we have a game against Rune, and we are going first. I think Rune is gonna be Spellboost, right? I don't really know if they have another deck. Once again, we just hard search for Lishenna here. Deck functions very, very badly without Lishenna. Fortunately, we don't pick up Lishenna here, so we're gonna have to try to find it later on. Wind Up is significantly worse going second than going first, because we're not in resonance on turn 2. There's Mecha Wing Angel for my opponent, which is gonna go ahead and summon Assembly Droids. We do need to find Lishenna though, so we go ahead and play the Maisha here. Unfortunately, still no Lishenna, which is not ideal. And there's Sagacious Call for my opponent. They leave my Maisha alive, which is actually very good here, because then we can look for an alternative win con since we don't see Lishenna. So we use Apostle of Destruction here, whose effect is to destroy an allied portalcraft follower or amulet without countdown, and then put a copy in your hand that costs 3 less, which beats us a 0 cost Maisha here, which we can use to OTK my opponent from with Purgation's Blade, which is now active from turn 7 instead of turn 10, which is much faster, and it means we have to survive much fewer turns. So we just have to look to try to kill my opponent with Maisha at this point. This is my opponent trading with the Tetra is fine, and there's the Insight and the Mecha Wing Angels. They are going pretty wide here, which is, we don't really care. At this point we have one goal, and that is to murder them with puppets. And then Maisha. So we go ahead and evolve Puppet Troop Master here. The reason why we use Troop Master is so that we get as many puppets as possible, which will allow us to clear as many as many of our allied followers die as possible. Let me go ahead and play Marionette Lad here, mostly just to make hand space. They'll have my opponent kill the Marionette Lad, and that will be fine because we will get more followers destroyed that way as well. It's good. And then we play Maisha here to enter Resonance so that we can play the Wind Up. We don't need the second Maisha anyway, so we can just use her to draw into our deck, find more puppets, and then have my opponent destroy the Maisha as well. Go ahead and trade here, which is fine. The magic number for Maisha to kill my opponent is 16 followers destroyed. We're at 7 now, which is a bit far away. So there's the Eleanor, which is fine. And Splendid Country as well, which will put us at 8. So now we do some math here. We have 2 puppets in hand, so we can reach 10 that way. So we want to find a way to get another. How many do I need? I have 10 destroy, I need another 3, and it just happens we have 3 copies of junk in our hand. Go ahead and play the puppet here. Play the junk. Or 2 copies of junk in our hand. Use Jar of Destruction to get rid of our junk here, as well as the Eleanor. Then we can set up another junk. This means that if they... they're very baited right now into playing Ryo this turn because... I mean, it's like basically non-existent board. They still have their evil point in their turn 7. So if they have Ryo here, they will probably play it. Even if they don't, as long as they give us a bunch of followers to trade into, we can probably kill them next turn. With the board followers on board, we reach 12, and then we have 17 followers destroyed, so we're fine there. And they do get sort of baited there, so they do play the Ryo here, which is great, which means we can kill them this turn, so they are just dead. Go ahead and play the puppet here. We just trade all our puppets to reach 16 followers destroyed, and then we can finish them off with Maisha this turn. So you can win without Lishenna, it's just that it requires some like high roll / setup to make work. But yeah, Maisha is a pretty solid extra win count on her own. So that's it for this game. Let's move on to the next one. So for our last game for today, we are going second against Portal. It is likely to be the mirror. I wanted to get a mirror match showcase for this video because I think the mirror is pretty fun. So once again, search for Lishenna, pick up the Lishenna here, so that's good. We have a way to win the game. My opponent passes, nothing much to do early game, we just go ahead and pass as well. So early game you sort of don't really want to clear their followers because you want them to leave followers on board for us to trade into. We're not actually that scared of their damage, their face damage here, so we can sort of ignore it mostly. There's the Mia, the hit face move. Go ahead and drop a junk here. Get one more puppet to make sure we don't have hand space, and then we sort of just pass here to make sure that I don't know, they leave a trade target for us so we can trade a puppet next turn. So that we can have followers destroyed after Lishenna hits the board, which is the goal. Go ahead and hit us in the face, that's fine. You can go ahead and drop the Lishenna. We pick out a Maisha as well, which is very nice. Maisha pairs very well with Lishenna's Distraction in Black because they can clear Distraction in Black can clear the war, and then Maisha finishes them off. We go ahead and use our puppets to trade now, and then just trade into the Mia as well, and just pass. And here my opponent's Lishenna hits the board, and from the moment Lishenna hits the board, this is when you start doing math. So they evolve the Lishenna now. At this point, you want to track how much their Distraction in white costs because preventing your opponent from playing it is basically the best way to win the mirror. So right now it's still at the full cost. We go ahead and play Marionette Lad here. We don't want to play it later on, and we don't want to play too many followers this turn. So we go ahead and use Marionette Lad to clear the Lishenna here. Trade it for a puppet, and then go ahead and hit face. So now they are Destruction in white costs 9. And they go ahead and evolve that Troop Master here as well, which they will probably use for getting more puppets. Fortunately for us, this means that we don't have to worry about Maisha from them anymore. Then go ahead and trade one puppet, so that thing costs 8 now. Next time they will have 7 PP, so we don't want them to destroy a follower. We just go ahead and drop Destruction in white here, and we'll go ahead and trade a puppet to make hand space. And trade one more puppet as well, but for some reason I didn't. Now I'm gonna overdraw, but yeah, this prevents them from playing Destruction in white this turn, which is very good. And they spend this turn setting up puppets in their hand, and they go ahead and play out a bunch. The solid thing about them spending all their puppets here is that all of this goes towards Destruction in white instead of black, and they are going to be able to play Destruction in white next turn anyway, so we honestly don't care anymore. So they go ahead and draw a card here, which is fine. We want to discount our Destruction in black now this turn, so go ahead and trade a puppet. And then this time we can clear that board because we don't really mind. If anything, we want to clear this board so that they waste all their discounts on Destruction in white instead of having some of those going towards Destruction in black, which we don't want to do. Go ahead and trade here as well. And then we just pass. No point giving them trade targets. We want to delay them as much as possible. And do play the Puppeteer string as well. There's the puppet. And another puppet. Another puppet. So they're just trying to discount their Destruction in black. They probably realize at this point that I'm not playing followers for them to trade into. But it's too late, so we go ahead and just drop Destruction in black here. And then we can go ahead and trade into a puppet just to make hand space, really. Then we play Inspired Inventor. Here I made a misplay. I should probably pick Hazardous Invention. Since my Destruction in black came down first, I don't really need the healing. I can probably just try to kill them instead. Hazardous Invention will help ping 1 damage, which might become relevant at some point. There's a distraction in black from them. Maybe we'll go ahead and trade as well. And there's like actually nothing to do here. We go ahead and just drop the Miraculous Invention here and just pass. There's nothing to do. And then my opponent passes as well. So this turn, my opponent's down to 1. So if I picked out Hazardous Invention earlier, they would just be dead right now. But thankfully we do have Maisha anyway, so we just have lethal, so we can go ahead and finish them off with Maisha. So that's it for this game. I don't remember my opponent lets me play the Maisha here. I think they just concede. Yeah, people concede against Maisha a lot. So yeah, that's it for the game. So those are all the games I have for you today. Hopefully give you some idea of how this deck works. You can see that it's definitely playable. You can definitely win games against even the top decks. Honestly, I feel like it has a pretty decent matchup against mid-range sword if your opponent doesn't aggro you. Of course, if they aggro you, you're in trouble, but if they're playing a slower game, you can sort of roll them with a distraction in black. But yeah, this is the list that we were playing for today. It's very cheap deck, very cheap list. If you don't really have vials to participate in the current time slip rotation, throwback rotation, then maybe this is the deck that you can play. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.